Good afternoon. There's a look high atop a cold-looking Pettis County out there this evening.
It is Thursday, January 13th. Even though Angie has a tickle in her throat, I will finish your sentence. Here's what's making news at this hour. A new welfare bill heats up in the Missouri House of Representatives. And a police program gets back on the road to keep car thieves off the street. Plus, churches in Sedalia set their sights on feeding the hungry this year. KOMU 8 News First at 5 starts now.
Live from Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News First at 5.
A 47-year-old Boone County man is facing felony child abuse charges. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Hill.
And I'm Angie Bailey. Thanks for joining us. Deputies say the man beat a 4-year-old girl earlier this week. KOMU 8's Danny Wexelman is live at the Boone County Sheriff's Department with more details on the case. Danny?
Angie, that's right. Detective Tom O'Sullivan told me that this is a case of a man spanking a child too hard. Deputies arrested 47-year-old Jeffrey Turner on suspicion of felony child abuse. O'Sullivan says the incident occurred at Turner's home in Boone County. A hotline call tipped off the Missouri Division of Children's Services with details on the child's injuries, and that's when the Boone County Sheriff's Department stepped in. As soon as he was in the Boone County Jail, Turner posted a $4,700 bond. Detective O'Sullivan told me that people can take a lesson from this case.
You know, it's never a good idea to use physical punishment on a child, especially when you're in a angry or upset mood.
Detective O'Sullivan told me that the next step in this case would be a court date for Turner. Reporting live at the Boone County Sheriff's Department, Danny Wexelman, KOMU 8 News.
Okay, thanks, Danny. Well, police are investigating a shooting that sent a 19-year-old man to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the neck. The department says the shooting happened about in the 800 block of Washington Avenue. The victim told police they were walking on Washington when a dark-colored vehicle drove by with its headlights on. Police believe the shooter shot the victim from the car. The victim's in the hospital and is reported as stable. No other suspect information or motive is available right now.
Barely a week into the legislative session, and the Missouri House of Representatives is already looking at a controversial welfare bill. Last year, a bill requiring drug testing of welfare recipients failed in the state Senate. A similar bill introduced yesterday says if a person receiving welfare benefits is suspected of using illegal drugs, he or she would have to be tested. The bill's sponsor says taxes shouldn't fund public assistance for people who can afford drugs, but opponents say if those people need the assistance, then they probably don't have much money in the first place.
People who are struggling to make ends meet today and are taking a drug test to get a job do not feel like their hard-earned tax dollars should be used to subsidize any drug use.
Most people that are applying for these benefits is so they can provide for themselves and their families. It's not so they can get drugs.
Discussion over the bill continues in the House next week. To read the full legislation, you can visit our website at KOMU.com.
Meanwhile, Governor Nixon says Access Missouri scholarships are headed up. Scholarships for qualifying community college students will jump almost $200. Public university scholarships will go up about $60. And private university students will see a $260 increase. The governor says he wants to see 60% of all Missourians achieve a post-secondary degree by 2020.
Now, while we still saw some chilly temperatures today, it was a much improved forecast from yesterday, and it continues to get better on out there. We do have some snow falling out across the Midwest right now, but luckily for us, that is staying away from us here in central Missouri. My forecast for this evening, we're falling back into the middle teens. It's definitely a lot better than the single digits. We won't be as cold, and we will see a partly cloudy sky. More details to come on that full forecast in just a bit.
All right, Michelle, thanks a lot. The Columbia Police Department told us today it plans to expand the bait car program this year. The City Council appropriated $8,000 towards that program that lures car thieves into stealing cars or items in cars that police put out. Since the program began in 2008, reports show that car thefts have gone down in Columbia, even though the population has increased.
We all forget to leave to take those things sometimes, whether it's our cell phone or iPod or MP3 player or something like that. there are always those days when we forget those things, and so having someone who's proactively trying to catch people who would steal them, yeah, it's nice to know.
The numbers for car thefts for 2010 will not be available until January 28th.
The national 9/11 flag flies high over the funeral services in Tucson, while a ship sails back to Afghanistan without its former commander. KOMU 8's David Earle has these stories and more in tonight's First Nation Report.
Thanks, Angie. The national 9/11 flag is flying over the funeral service for the youngest victim of the mass shooting in Arizona. 9-year-old Christina Taylor Green was born on September 11, 2001. The flag, the largest recovered from Ground Zero after the 9/11 attacks, forms an arch over the entry to the church. The third grader had an interest in politics and had recently been elected to the student council at her elementary school. The USS Enterprise deployed to Afghanistan today without its former commander. Sailors boarded the Navy aircraft carrier this morning in Virginia without Captain Owen Honors. The Navy has launched an investigation into Honors' production of sexually themed videos he showed to thousands of crew members in 2006 and 2007. The Navy has reassigned Honors to a desk job. A mother and 3 children are dead after an early morning house fire in eastern Pennsylvania. The fast-moving fire broke out in this home in Philadelphia early this morning. Officials say the mother and 3 children between the ages of 9 and 14 were found dead inside the home. At least 3 other homes were also damaged by the flames. That's your first look around the nation. Now let's send it back to Sarah for your First World Report.
All right, thanks a lot. New in Brazil, the equivalent of a month's rain fell over 24 hours and started deadly mudslides. More than 350 people are dead and dozens more are missing. Mudslides washed away families and left survivors scrambling to reach their neighbors trapped under debris. Brazil's president has signed a decree to release more than $400 million for relief and rescue efforts. Brazil isn't the only country dealing with massive rainfall. A heavy monsoon struck Sri Lanka, leaving more than 120 dead. Floodwaters caused hundreds of dams and reservoirs to burst. Nearly 1/5 of Sri Lanka's rice paddies have been destroyed, and many areas have been hit by mudslides. A barge carrying more than 2,400 tons of sulfuric acid capsized today in Germany's Rhine River. Divers are searching that river for 2 missing crew members. The river's water level has been high in recent days after melting ice, snow, and rain caused flooding. Authorities say none of the sulfuric acid has leaked into the Rhine.
Well, a number of churches in Sedalia are setting sights this week on feeding the hungry this new year. 97 churches, in fact, have banded together to host the 4th annual soup drive to support the Open Drive Service Center. The drive's going on until Super Bowl Sunday. That's February 6th. Last year, the drive gathered 10,000 cans of soup for the center. This year, the churches hope to get 12,000. That number will stock the shelves for 3 months.
It's a big job, but it's only able to be done because of the communities that we serve being involved with what we do.
Minja said by today, the churches have collected just 700 cans. Now, the Open Door Center feeds 4,000 people a month. If you'd like to donate, you can go to our website to find the list of churches involved.
4,000 people a month. Wow. A national program promotes healthier changes in the cafeteria. How a federal incentive may change what your kids eat in school.
And the FDA announces new types of warning labels on painkillers.
Temperatures continue to improve as we head towards the weekend, and we might even start to see that snow melt out there. My full forecast, it's coming up next.
If you're watching Oprah, you probably needed your boot tights today, huh? The time is 5:08 and you are looking high atop Fulton. This is KOMU 8 News, first at 5, coverage you can count on.